Alright. So, okay, fell anyway. So, welcome back to my channel. My name is Susan, and this is my Special Forces Season 2, Episode 5 review. Now, can we just take a moment to appreciate what a badass JoJo Siwa is? But start from the beginning. So, they are, of course, chatting amongst themselves, and the staff are actually having more fun. You see them visibly having more fun in the discussions about the recruits than you did last season. They're just having fun, joking around. These guys are great. I really do like them. They're awesome. I mean, if I was being verbally abused by them, I probably wouldn't be so thrilled, but... So they decide that it's halfway through the course, and half of the recruits are gone, so they're right on schedule. Thanks, Rudy. And, by the way, was Rudy wearing glasses last season? I really do not recall this. But anyway... So they're discussing how to increase the pressure to see who really wants to be here. This is the only show where, they're trying to get people to quit. But anyway. So they decide that they're going to do the commander crawl. So they take them, they helicopter them to a location where they have to crawl on their stomach on a rope. And halfway, they just make them go halfway, which makes me wonder, what, do they just then fall off and then wait to be lowered to the ground? What happens when they're halfway, if they're only halfway across the mountains? So they, which, by the way, like Foxy mentioned at one point, it is a gorgeous view. So Billy would ask everyone, are you afraid of heights? And I think he was desperately looking for someone who would say yes. And he asks Bodhi. And obviously they're not aware of what Bodhi used to do for a living. Because as this ranks up there with if Gus Kenworthy was on this season, asking him if he's afraid of heights, the answer is an emphatic no. I mean, this guy was a top-notch downhiller. So, no, not afraid of heights. So anyway, Bodhi managed to pass the course with a good amount of whining about his stomach, which, yeah, I'm sure that mustn't have felt good. I've had carpet burns on my stomach when I was a little kid because my brother would drag me on my stomach down the stairs, carpeted stairs. So, yeah, no, those aren't fun. But, so he was whining the entire way, but he did it. It took him a second, and the fact that Foxy was desperately trying to help him, like, look down the rope. And Bodhi would be having issues, and he would be like, yeah, fine, don't listen to me. I mean, I understand what Bodhi is getting at. You don't like to be told what to do. You want to just do it yourself. Okay, you have the technique down. You're told what to do. Now leave me alone, let me do it. I get that. But at the same time, they're desperately trying to help you here, Bodhi. They are not yelling at you because they want to yell at you. Well, maybe they do get off on yelling at people, but still. The main thing is that they want to help you finish the course. even though they want to get you to quit, it's not because they want you to quit. Technically, they want you to only go as far as you're capable of. And they want to reach that for as many people as they can. Because they don't want it to be easy to get through the course. Because it's supposed to be special forces. So I get it. But at the same time, yeah. Also, why are you verbal abuse much? So Bodhi is not a fan of the verbal abuse. And so he managed to get through, and Tom, I think they're still making fun of Tom. They're always making fun of Tom. Probably because he's taking Scandival way too fucking seriously. Yes, you cheated on your wife. Which, by the way, the girl he cheated on her with isn't going to be part of Vanderpump Rules this season. So that makes me wonder, are they together? If that's the case, then the universe is punishing you enough. You don't need to be doing this to do some penance or something. But anyway. So he and Tom were the only ones who managed to get through. And I'm sure Billy was thrilled when Erin said that she was very scared of heights. I'm sure he was thrilled. He was like, yes, we finally have one. Nick tried so hard. He was so close, and no, didn't work. So, as punishment, they helicoptered them a mile away from the camp, and they had to run with the Bergens, and two of them, meaning Tyler and Nick, had to carry Bodhi and Tom. And Tyler was basically doop-de-doop-de-doo. You know, he was concentrating. You could see by the end that he totally had enough. But it wasn't like Nick. I mean, Nick was screaming. He was just having such an issue. And finally he's like, I need help, guys. And who is the one who ends up helping? JoJo. Now, I realize she's taller than Erin, but I don't know. I would have expected it to be Erin because she's supposed to be the athlete. But no, it was JoJo. Jack, I can understand. He was actually having his own set of problems because this episode, it was his turn to throw up. So, I understand that Jack was, like, not an option. But it just surprised me it was JoJo. And she had absolutely no problem. Now, I don't know at this point how far out they were and how far she had to carry him. But, I think he was a good amount of, a good chunk of the way. So they get back to camp, and they take Nick to what they called the dry room. And they were trying to get Nick to recover. Erin was helping him, and Jack was helping him. And they were both trying to get him back with the rest of the world. He seemed completely out of it. He was cooked. He was done. And so they took him to the showers and just had him sit down and let the hot shower fall on him to try to relax him and bring him back to life, which they kind of did. Which they did. And so they finally bring him back to the main lodging of the recruits. And shortly after that, the staff are talking and they're like, we should talk to number 12. Why is he here? Because he just seemed, he seems done. He seemed wiped. Which they seemed like, it's like, well, I don't know why, we've got to get to the bottom of this. Why is he wiped? Because you're trying to do that. You were desperately trying to get people to quit. Come on. I mean, even during the run, it's like, hey, you can quit whenever you want to quit. Go for it. Just stop if you want to. Like Bodhi said, about Q, he wanted to punch him. And based on what I know of him, when he was younger anyway, I'm surprised he hasn't actually. I really am. So, first, they call in Nick. And they ask Nick to talk about himself. Now, obviously, Nick is as good about talking about himself as I am. In this case, not good at all. And Billy, who he so reminds me of Sophia from the Golden Girls. He doesn't take any, he just has no fucks to give. He's going to say what he's thinking. I mean, granted, Sophia had a medical reason for doing that, but still. So, he says, you're boring. It's like, what do you do? And he tells him, I'm like, I am just shocked that he didn't mention, oh yeah, that was on The Bachelor. I'm really surprised that he just mentioned that he's a podcaster. Because I'm sure that makes them wonder, wait, why are you on the show? This is for celebrities, not just some Yahoo. Of course, many people would question if reality TV stars are actually celebrities, but that's a different story. So, I'm surprised he didn't say, I was on The Bachelor, and now I'm doing this. And his reasoning for being here is that he's about to become a dad, and he wants to see how much he can handle. There is a huge cavern, basically about the size of that command crawl that you did, between Special Forces and raising a kid. I mean, if you want to see how much you can handle, okay, fine. But because you're about to become a dad, and you want to see if you're ready for that, Special Forces does not do that. You can be a great person in Special Forces. You could do a great job in Special Forces and be a shit dad. Those two do not correlate at all. I mean, if you want to know what it takes to be a dad, talk to Bodhi. He's a dad, 5 times over? So that's a better plan than doing Special Forces training. Now again, if he also wants to just simply test himself to see how much he can handle, okay, fine, but being a dad, no. Talk to Bodhi, talk to Jack. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, I like Nick, he's from Wisconsin, I want him to do well, but, Speaking of doing well, I'm predicting that JoJo is making it to the end. Because she's doing what's known from Survivor as the winner's edit. Because she's talking about how she's never been on a helicopter. She's never been in a helicopter, so Bodhi, of course, being an alpine skier, has been on helicopter rides aplenty. So they talk to him, and then he goes back. But at this point, he's fine. He's, lucid. He's running fine. He seems to have recovered. And they basically told him that they see potential in him, and he has to try harder. And he mentions that to the recruits, and Jack is like, wait, what? Did they not see what you were doing? Well, how are you supposed to try harder? But I think that they mean mentally, that you have to be even more mentally strong, which, again, I'm not sure where they're coming from with this. I mean, Jack, but then again, even Jack said he's in a dark place right now. So, yeah. So, Jojo even asked Jack how he's doing, because he mentioned, that he, some jar metaphor. I don't remember exactly how he phrased it, but he used the same thing for himself. He's like, yeah, the jar is open. I'm fine now, but it might end up closing. So everybody's getting along, which is great. And so then they have to do, I guess you could call it a mini task, a mini challenge, which they didn't actually call it a bee sting, but it seems like it's a bee sting. And so they have to run this obstacle course. Bodhi is having serious problems. Nick seems to be having problems. They're doing it, they're just being really, really slow. And Bodhi is being lippy by saying how it's like, well, if you want to quit, just give us your number. It's like, well, then tell him. He's doing the same thing as me. So the staff do not take kindly at all to Bodhi, mouthing off to them. Which, I get that. But at the same time, he's not wrong. So, it's off to, what was the second task now? After they did that, they sent him on another task, and I'm trying to remember now. Oh my god, I'm totally blanking what the next task was. Shit. What was the next task? Because it didn't end with the obstacle course. I cannot believe this. What was the second task? I have to look it up, because I'm just forgetting. Sorry, guys. But what the heck? I'm just... Let's see if I can find out what the second task was. Come on, guys. What was the second task? Come on. Help me out here. Oh, come on. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just... Alright, recap. Jesus Christ. So maybe that was the second task. Maybe I'm just not forgetting. Okay. So, but yeah, the staff gets upset with Bodhi. They call him in. And I thought that there was going to be more talk about, because he suddenly started crying. Now, which is a valid, legit stress reliever, stress valve. But that's not the reasoning he gave. He gave as his reasoning about, he was thinking about his kids. So he mentioned how many kids he has and their ages, and how one of his kids drowned in a neighbor's pool. And the staff seemed, they looked uncomfortable listening to this, but at the same time they were like, okay, back to where we are. Okay. No sympathy for Bodhi. I mean, I realize that, he's they see him as disrespectful, but really? He's pouring out his heart about, not wanting to push his kids because, if he's with one kid at a game, he can't watch his other kids, which led to one of them drowning, which makes me wonder, who is watching that kid? Because the way he makes it sound like the kid was home alone or something, which I should hope not. I don't understand. But anyway, so Bodhi goes back and he's having a hard time walking, and he's talking about how the experience was for him. And before this, he told Jack that he's starting to hate British accent. Of all the freaking people to say that to. Now, I realize that the context is Billy, being verbally abusive to them. But guess who also has a British accent? Jack. I mean, come on here. Have some awareness. But, Jack is a good guy, so he realizes that it wasn't meant as a slap towards him, but still, of all the people you can tell that to. So then there's a voiceover of Foxy talking about, having what it takes and, finding any reason to quit. And when they talk about that, they show Jack, they show Bodhi, and they show Nick. I don't know if they showed Tyler, because they also showed Tom, who seemed to have some serious back issues. He was having issues. JoJo seemed fine. I don't think they showed Erin, but so she must have been fine too. So I do think JoJo is gonna make it to the end. Erin looks like she might also make it. They're not giving us any overt signs that she is, but she might. I think Tyler might. Jack is in a world of hurt. He said that his heart rate is not going down. It's still at 100. We see scenes from next week where he is with the medic, and they are checking his vitals. So I don't know if that has something to do with his MS, or if there's another issue, or it's just simply that his body is so stressed out that, it just needs time to heal. Again, I don't know if that has anything to do with his MS, or if it's just that, that his body just can't handle it. I think I've covered everything from this episode. And for those who wonder why it's taken 2 weeks, to air this episode, it's because of playoff baseball. One was, I think, one of the conference games, and then the World Series. So that's why it's taken 2 weeks to air the next episode. Let's see if there's anything I'm missing. I don't believe I've missed anything. Let me just check what the task is supposed to be for next week. So, the next episode is called Survival. And the recruits face the most dangerous task yet, a helicopter survival drill, as a test of their ability to mentally handle a life or death situation. And I think that's the one where they're in a downed helicopter and they're holding their breath for a certain amount of time. And I have to admit, they showed Erin and she looked hella uncomfortable. So she might end up failing that task. Oh, and one more thing. Jack was being so nice about, now granted he's right about this because you just had to watch the last season to know it. They're more interested in, are you willing to push through and persevere, rather than did you actually pass all the tasks. So, yeah, it's looking like this might be another season where the girls beat the boys. Now, I could be wrong. Tyler might stick around. Who knows how much Bodie is going to stick around. So, even though these guys, Jack, except for his heart rate not being able to come down, if they're able to get that under control in a way that he could stay on the course, he might seriously make it to the end. I really hope he does, because even though there were those times when he annoyed the hell out of me, I actually do not mind him lately. He seems to be just fine. He seems to be acting like a decent human being. So yeah, hopefully those three make it. The others are, well, Jack is already iffy because of the heart rate issue. Tom is in a world of hurt. Bodie is in a world of hurt. Nick still kind of is in a world of hurt. You saw that with the bee sting, with the obstacle course, that, he was having issues keeping up with everybody, and the guys were desperately trying to get them to quit. Billy thanked him for the entertainment. It's just, the staff is having more fun this season. I have to admit, it's fun to watch. But anyway, I think I'm circling around now. So with that, I will see you guys in the next video.